Can you believe that these street photos are from an action camera?
It's not true. That's impossible!
Somehow, 1 year after its release, the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is actually becoming something of a street photography beast. Thanks to this Leica lens, the in-camera picture profiles, and a few other tricks up its sleeve.
Sumimasen. Hi, for you? Oh.
Yes, thank you. Where are you from?
I'm from England.
Oh, England.
By the way, if you want to grab your camera right now, Insta360 are actually having their biggest sale of the year until December 7th. So I'll drop a link in the description below if you want to go check it out right away. Quick disclaimer, this video is sponsored by Insta360. However, I do have full creative control over this video, so I'm going to be sharing my criticisms of this camera as a street photographer, as well as the things that I like about it. So first, let's talk about this lens. The lens we have on the front of the Ace Pro 2 is a co-engineered with Leica Super Summerit lens. This helps towards the image quality that we have here, but it also has another trick up its sleeve. The first time I did this, I actually thought I was going to break the lens on this camera, but once you get used to it, it's quite a seamless operation, and it does change the way that you actually shoot photography with this camera. By removing this lens guard from the front of the camera, we can then attach one of several lens attachments. Here I actually have the close-up lens attachment, and then I also have the ultra-wide here. For the most part, I've actually been using this close-up lens, and when you attach any of these lens attachments, we then have to go into our little lens master menu and then choose our specific lens. And the close-up lens actually lets you choose to be able to enable focus peaking, which should help with focusing with this lens. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. Regardless of the lens that you use on this camera, we have full access to the full range of video settings, up to 8K resolution or 4K in slow motion, as well as pure video for low light video, which actually is some of the best low light performance I've ever seen in an action camera. And more importantly, for both video and photography, we have access to our different picture profiles, such as Leica Vivid and also Leica Eternal, which I've been using for a lot of my photography, while I've been using Leica Vivid for a lot of the video. At the center of the street photography experience though, we have the new Xplorer Grip Pro. And actually, fun fact, I've already had the Ace Pro 2 in black from earlier this year with the original Xplorer Grip from Tilta that I was shooting with in Portugal in the summer. This new Xplorer Grip Pro actually gives power to the camera, so we can extend the battery life of our camera when the case is actually charged. And then we also have controls, so we now have a shutter button on here, we have a rear dial that we can assign to different settings, and a zoom rocker, which you may or may not need on an action camera. When I'm shooting street photography in manual exposure, I manually set my shutter speed on the camera touchscreen, and then I use the rear dial to control my ISO. And then if I'm shooting in auto in very bright light where I don't need to worry about shutter speed, then I assign it to EV, so I can just control the overall exposure. So to me, it would actually be nice if we could assign the zoom rocker to be something else. We could assign it to something like picture profiles, so we can just quickly like flick back and forth, like with each switch, to change different color profiles, or we could even set it to shutter speed while we have ISO on the back. I think that would actually make this a lot more useful when you're in photo mode, because you can already double tap on the screen or just tap the zoom icon in the bottom right hand corner. Now, the old Xplorer Grip that was made with Tilta does not have power. It is literally just a metal case, but I actually quite like it. It definitely feels more robust in your hand, and actually the fact that you don't have power in here means that you don't need to worry about the grip getting wet. This still has the camera and the case together being fully weather sealed. But on the new Xplorer Grip Pro, because we have that battery and power function, neither the camera nor the grip are fully weatherproof now, because you have to remove the USB-C port door to be able to connect the grip into the camera. So it's not really that one case is better than the other. The new Grip Pro has more functionality, whereas the original Xplorer Grip is just kind of more robust. So maybe you want to use one on more adventure days and one on more casual city days. So the close-up lens on this camera is actually one of my favorite things that I've used with the Ace Pro 2 so far. And it actually changes the way that you do shoot, especially when you have the camera connected into the Xplorer Grip Pro, because you have full control of the camera, and then you also have the ability to actually manually focus, which can be really useful, but at other times can actually mean you miss a shot, which is frustrating. The Ace Pro 2's standard lens doesn't have a very close focus distance, sadly, like you can see in this shot here when I was trying to get a shot of a fish that a woman was trying to show to me. That wasn't even that close to the camera, and we do not have it in focus. Whereas a few minutes later, once I had this lens attached, you can see just how close I'm able to focus with the close-up lens. And as I mentioned earlier, we actually have the ability to use focus peaking inside the camera when we're shooting with this lens, which you would think would make it really, really easy. Except it kind of looks like everything's in focus all the time. The focus peaking to me could probably do with having multiple settings of like low, medium and high in terms of sensitivity, because sometimes when I'm focusing pretty close to the camera, but not all the way at the close macro, it looks like something's in focus on the display, only then after when I zoom in, it's not sharp at all. So as good as this is for when you're focusing either at the closest distance or at the furthest distance, for when you're trying to focus somewhere in the middle, it's really hard to get right. It's possible, but you do have to have a lot of patience and be paying very close attention, which can mean that a moment passes you by. However, one thing that made this a lot easier when I was out shooting these people fishing was actually once I attached this little sunshade we have for some waist level, almost like old style medium format camera shooting, which actually means you can see the screen a lot better in bright sunny days so that you can try and nail that focus peaking. And actually this just makes the whole shooting experience of the camera a little bit more tactile and fun, which I'm always here for. One more thing on the close focus lens that we have here, because I love this as a lens attachment and I really like this ecosystem of lens attachments to put on an action camera, because we have a solid action camera that you can wear, a point and shoot with a very good flip up vlogging screen, and then now we have this like modular point and shoot ecosystem that I think is a really solid direction to be going in. But the one thing we are really missing right now is a lens that builds on the digital zoom that we have in the camera. We can crop by 2 times in photography mode to 12.5 megapixels, and we can crop by 2 times in 4K video. But what would be really nice is a lens attachment with like a 1.5 times or 2 times optical zoom. Much like what Moment do for the Moment Case T series lenses with their 58mm that gives you like a nice telephoto portrait lens. Something like that on the Ace Pro 2, I have felt like I wouldn't have minded a 35mm equivalent, a 40mm equivalent, or a 50mm equivalent. And I think that would look really nice on this camera with this Leica lens and the in-camera picture profiles. Now I've saved my favorite accessory for last, because whoever thought an action camera needed a printer? Well, now you don't have to decide between an instant camera, an action camera, or a street photography camera, because we have them all in one. With this printer mounted to the bottom of the camera, all you then have to do is go into your menu and connect with Bluetooth. That takes 2 seconds. And the first time I actually used this printer out in the world was purely spontaneous, and it was the first time I even connected to the printer. I'd just been photographing this family fishing here in Japan, and I captured this shot on the Ace Pro 2, so I wanted to give this gentleman this photo as a gift. So I literally just squatted down on the ground and set this up for the first time. Connecting it to the camera was like any other mount accessory, and the Bluetooth literally connected in 2 seconds. Then just selecting my photo in the gallery and then choosing print. The photo prints in a few passes, printing by color, then you have your finished image, which you can put on your wall or give away to the subject like I did here.
Sumimasen. Hi, for you? Oh.
Yes, thank you. Where are you from?
I'm from England.
Oh, England.
You can find the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 and all these great accessories via the link in the description. Make sure to get the Xplorer Grip Pro and this photo printer if you want to be able to give away photos like I did in this video. And if you want to see another video on street portraits, check out this one from a couple of years ago in London.